Hello and welcome back. Now, if you've been watching my channel, then you probably already know that my first two reviews were PlayStation 3 games. Now, don't get me wrong, I love the PlayStation 3. But it's not my signature console. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to switch things up today. Today, we're going to look at some Wii games. This is a tribute to Nintendo and the Nintendo Wii. Right now, the Nintendo Wii is living out its last few months before the Wii U hits the market. But for now, let's take a good look at the console that left a landmark in gaming history. Let's start off with the controllers. Pretty much the most basic controller you're going to need for every Wii game is the standard controller, preferably one in the sleeve. But if you want to play virtual console games, that's a different story. You have the choice of two alternative controllers. One is a classic controller that's reminiscent of an SNES controller, or you can use a standard GameCube controller if you want, but we'll get to those later. And as for saving the games, unlike the GameCube where you had to save your games on a memory card, you use an SD card like the one you use in a camera. But enough technical stuff, let's get to the games you want to hear about. Now let's talk about the games. We got Wii Fit Plus, Wii Sports, and Wii Sports Resorts. Now obviously there's a ton of games on each disc, so I'm just going to whip through a few games for now. On the Wii Fit Plus, there's Obstacle Course, which requires using the Wii Balance Board. This game revolves around trying to make it past these wrecking balls and other obstacles. To walk or jump, you have to shift your weight on the board without physically lifting your feet off the board. That is harder than it sounds. To be honest, this game feels like those mini games from Super Mario Sunshine. The game is challenging, but believe me, it is fun. Now let's move on to Wii Sports. I'm only going to go through 3 games on here for you guys. Our first one is baseball. It's basically regular baseball. You can hit, you can pitch, but the only thing you can't do is move your character around the game or catch any of the balls. Next is tennis. Like in baseball, you can hit the ball around and you actually feel like you're in the game, but you can't control the character. Instead, the character moves close to where the ball is going. I gotta admit, for a sports game like this, and especially on Wii, it's actually really effective. Next is bowling. It's pretty much your basic 10-pin bowling, but unlike the other 2 games, you actually can't control the character here. You can position the ball left, right, or diagonal. Aside from being basic bowling, it's much more fun when you have a friend to play with. Next up is Wii Sports Resort. Now most of the games here are pretty much the same from Wii Sports and Wii Fit Plus, so I'm just going to go over 2 basic games. First is basketball. I'm not really big on basketball, but this game is highly addictive. You'll get an adrenaline rush as you try to make every basket and beat your high score. So if anything, this game brings the rush and tension that most games just don't have anymore. And our last game here is airplanes. Kinda odd, isn't it? Not exactly the sport you think you'd find in a sports game, but it's really simple. All you have to do is hold the Wii controller like you're holding a paper airplane, and just maneuver it around the map. Not much to say about this one, but it's entertaining nonetheless. Okay, we played a few sports games, so you know what? How about we do something a little bit more nostalgic? Let's go back to the past and play some virtual console games from some of the classic Nintendo consoles. Now before you can play any virtual console games, you have to choose your controller. Here's what I recommend. If you want to play NES games, use the Wiimote controller as you would if it was an NES controller. For SNES games, use the classic controller. It gives the game that classic SNES feel, and you can use either the joystick or the D-pad to move your character. As for N64 games, I highly recommend using the GameCube controller. Don't get me wrong, you can still use the classic controller, but it'll feel really awkward. All in all, it just depends on the kind of game you want to play. Now let's take a look at the games. First up is Super Contra. Let me just say that this is a great side-scrolling shooter. You can shoot in any direction and you get some pretty awesome weapon upgrades along the way. The one thing that makes Contra legendary is its difficulty. This is a hard game and it will take some getting used to. The only thing that bugs me about this game are these green guys who run past you and inflict damage on you. How do they hurt you? Do they wipe their boogers on you or something? I mean, the guys with the guns, they were given. They have weapons, but the green guys? I just don't get them. Next is the game that most people consider to be the best game on the NES, Super Mario Bros. 3. Now that I've had a chance to play the game, I can see why it's considered to be the best. It takes a lot to have made some great classic games good and brought over to Mario side. Things like power-ups, puzzle solving, and some of the best platforming around. And who could forget the classic Warp Whistle cheat from the Wizard? I don't think I need to tell you that every Nintendo console had a signature platforming game. For the SNES, there's Castlevania 4. Now what makes this game great? Well, for one, like in Contra, you can attack in any direction you want, and the enemies here are plentiful.
and I think I can speak for everyone when I say that the Medusa heads suck. However, I found that if you stand on this one block, the heads won't touch you. Clever, huh? Anyway, the game's fun and it's one of my all-time favorite side-scrollers. Now it's time for a classic racing game. For its time, Super Mario Kart looks great, and it still holds up as a great racing game. You can choose from a variety of Mario characters and you choose your race, so it's actually better than most racing games before it. I know this game looks really primitive when compared to lifelike racing games now, but just take my word for it when I say this game is more than worth your time. Time for the last game. The game that's considered to be the best game ever made. The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. There's not really much I can say about this game that hasn't already been said before. The gameplay is sweet, the music is awesome, and the 3D world is incredible. Unfortunately, I'm too involved in my current quest at the time, so there's not much I can show. But I do plan to go back to this game later down the road, so just stay tuned to my channel. Well, that does it for all the Virtual Console games I have. They define their respective systems and they will never fade from existence. I just wanted to show current gamers what they're missing out on. I know the graphics and games get better with every new console that comes along, and that the Wii U is on its way, but my advice is to just sit down and get lost in the games that define a generation. That's all I can say for now. Check in for more videos later.